And hello racing fans, and welcome to our Gallop TV Preview Show. We're previewing Wednesday the 6th of November. We race at Hollywoodbets Greyville. We're on both surfaces, the turf and the poly. And what's on offer? Well, there's 8 races on offer. Just having a look at the betting and the menu. 12:25 will be the start of race number 1, and if all things are equal, 16:33 will jump for the last race. That's race number 1 up on screen, which will start off the bipod at 12:25. Ryle Radhakrishna in studio to join me for this preview. And before we even touch on the preview, there's lots of rain about Ryle. We race on the turf and the poly. Yeah, the rain has been continuous since the weekend. And we're just hoping that, we're recording the show 24 hours later, so the guys must, just keep an eye on what's going to happen on the day, especially to card changes and whatever there is. The one thing that we're certain about is that Muzieni is not riding, and on behalf of the Gallop TV team, Ryle and myself, we'd like to wish Muzi a speedy recovery. It was an untimely fall considering where he was on the log with the championship.
Yeah, certainly this unfortunate incident there over the weekend in the charity mile with Muzieni falling, but hopefully racing goes according to plan on Wednesday, and with the 3 races on the turf, we begin with a turf race, and that's race number 1 at 12, and hopefully we can remain on the surface. 1600 meters a distance. This is the fillies and mare 66 handicap, and Meritorious is quite a strong favourite in the market. He's even money favourite. She made a winning debut when beating what looked to be quite a shallow field, and she beat Fate Decreed that day. That was just 2 weeks ago. She's a horse that there was quite a bit of talk about her on debut, and she came to the course with a bit of a reputation, as Nicolette mentioned in the post-race interview. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this filly make it 2 from 2, especially with a step up in trip, likely to suit her quite well.
I think the distance is going to suit her nicely. I'm just on the fence with the strength of that form line. Fate Degree, Nathan Cotson's horse, is a struggling maiden. I think that must have been her best run to date. Our third in that race was Frank Robinson's runner, who was debuting. So that form line is something that I just am not convinced with. Whereas on the other hand, Sasha's Dream, Doug Campbell's runner, I personally think that she won in a competitive race, and you can see the average ratings of the races, Ryle.
Yeah.
The debut number 8, average rating 57. I mean, this filly 70 and 65. So they've been stronger fields that Sasha's Dream raced against, and Rachel's 1.5 is an absolute bonus. She's shown that she enjoyed the step up to 1700 meters. She won on the poly, and this is on the turf, so. We'll see how she goes back on the turf, number 7. But if I'll have to tip them, I think those are the right 2 runners in the race, 7 and 8. And then I like one more runner, and that's going to be Com Naidu's, the Supernova Star. I think Nirvana Stili will be ideal from draw 1, having partnered her last time out, where she just tied over 1900 meters. I like the fact that Com's dropping in distance with that good draw. She could be the joker of the pack at around 8-1. Yeah. The way I got it is 1 is at around 8-1. I took down this betting early, so there may have been changes. 1 is 8-1, 2 is at 11-2, 3 at 13-2, number 7 at 4-1, and 11-10 about number 8. So in order of preference, Ryle, I like to tip them 7, 8, and the value is number 1. So those 2 horses drawn poorly against number 1 that will have the run of the race.
Yeah, I like your thinking there with number 1, the Supernova Star. She could be the horse that they all need to fetch going through the final 400 meters of the race. And at 8-1, she could represent very good value in race number 1. But if I had to tip them, I'm going to tip them 8-1 and then 7. I like the look of Meritorious. I think that she's a filly with tons of scope for improvement and quite a bit of ability. But that's race number 1. We got it from D's. In terms of the bipod, D's numbers?
I'll go with the 2-3-olds.
2-3-olds.
Yeah, 7 and 8.
Yeah, 7 and 8 for D's in leg number 1 of that bipod. Race number 2 is the start of the place accumulator. 1 o'clock is the off time. It's an MR 78 handicap over 1600 meters. It's an average rating of a 74. And race number 2, favourite here, Rodriguez 33-10, Imperial Power 4-1, Palermo 4-1, along with Kurari's Dream 5-1, about 1 Irish Rover, it's 8-1, and Better Baldos. Now, race number 2, this horse Kurari's Dream, he He won a good race last time out. He was a subject of a lot of betting support. 5-2 into 4 into 5, 11-2 into 5-2. Let me get that right. And yeah, he won quite a nice race when dropped down in trip to 1600 meters, and he's now unbeaten over the trip. King Bavarian ran a narrow second over the weekend. The horse that ran third, Forest Jump, did come through to frank that form. So the form line's holding up quite nicely. And despite this horse stepping up in class, I'm not concerned about that. He's run against these type of horses in the past before he could drop in the ratings and find his place in that race last time out. So I think he could be well placed here. He's only gone up to 4 points for that victory. Sereno sticks with the ride here for Andre Nel. And these, I've taken a stance here in leg number 1 after place accumulator. I've banked the son of Kurari. I think he can go back to back, and at 4-1, I think he could be worth a bet on the head.
Yeah, last time out, you mentioned the betting support that came for him. It looked like the right race, that he's come down in the ratings. You found the right type of field. That form line is looking good. You mentioned Forest Jump. King Bavarian the other day ran a nice race. But, this race is on the turf. So he's back on the turf. Not that he hasn't run, well on the turf. He's actually won on the turf at Hollywoodbets Scottsville. And he could be on the up. He wasn't penalized too much for winning last time out. So you could be onto something with number 8, Kerari's Dream. I must compliment Bryne for doing an outstanding job for Andre Nel and Platinum Racing and KZN. The stable's absolutely flying. 5, Rodriguez, Louis Courson's horse. Consistency, I'm not going to discount. From his last start behind Salucler, the average rating there being an 85. The average rating prior to that an 80, then an 82. I mean, this horse, Kerari's Dream, is running in the average ratings of 60s, Rael. So
he's got 61 and a half though.
Yeah, he has to carry the weight. Are you up in class? You have to carry the weight. So I personally think that Rodriguez, against this type of field, with the quality that he's been racing against, it's a big step down in class for him. And from his last start, Ty Connell was a close-up second behind Nocturnal Flight from his last start. That form line will hold up. It was a nice win from Salucler. So a lot of respect for number 5, Rodriguez. And then this horse, number 2, Fish Eagle for Gary Rich, having kept a very close eye on him when he had his first run for Gary. I know he's a horse who's only won on the poly track, but his last start for Gary was a very good run because that race was won by what I'll call a steal-away ride by Craig Zaki. I remember him just going to the front and he was never going to get caught. So this horse ran a nice race first up, coming off a break, and I think there's more to come from him. So I like those 3 runners, numbers 2, 5, and 8. You like number 8. I'm going to tip Rodriguez to actually beat number 8. So I'm going to go 5, 8, and 2 as my top 3. And I like those runners in the PA.
Yeah, I had a look at Fish Eagle D's, and it was just the turf that sort of put me off because his better form was, as you mentioned, is on the poly track. So if they are to switch surfaces, well then I think...
You tasted a Fish Eagle?
No Fish Eagle for me.
No Fish Eagle.
Flying fish though.
Flying fish, not a Fish Eagle. Okay.
Not a Fish Eagle, yeah.
Okay.
But let's see how it all unfolds in race number 2. D's likes Rodriguez. I'm in the camp of Kurari's Dream, and let's see who can get the job done in the second.
Race number 3, start of the pick 6. You need to get on by 13:35. Still on the turf for leg 1 of their pick 6, 1200 meters. Merit rated 78 handicap. We'll bring up the field. Time of recording, just 7 runners that go to post here. Betting taken down early. Number 1, 7-2. Horse number 3 at 28-10. 4 at 5-2. 5 at 7-2. And 6 at 6-1. Well, the horse that will possibly set the standard here is from the very informed stable of Stuart Ferry, Preemptive Strike. How's the stable going, Ryle?
I thought you were going to say the informed Garth Pulleyard.
Oh, but no, I think Stuart Ferry, considering the number of horses he has.
Yes.
To a stable like Garth, who's got a much bigger string.
Yes.
I mean, Stuart's just managing his horses properly.
Yeah.
He's placing them in the right races. They're running well, whether they're first timers, whether they're traveling. He's having a great run, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's learned well from Dennis Dry, and he's learned the ropes, and yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job with the yard. Is Stu, and
what do you make of the 7-year-old now? Preemptive.
Not on the turf tees. If it's a poly track, big runner, especially over this distance, but on the turf, I have my reservations. I think that he could be could be a horse that is vulnerable to a couple others here, but he's holding his form very nicely. He's second behind Triple T last time out. Was a good performance, doing his best work at the finish, and yeah, the form line's been franked, and I think that he could run into trifectas and quartets. I've ignored him though. I've passed him by. I've gone for numbers 1 and 4. I like the look of Kalahari Roller with the 4 kgs off the back. Mbuto takes a ride, 54.5 Ds, and this horse, 2 more points down in the ratings. I think he's in the right race now to be effective. The distance, not a concern for me. Still a young horse that's improving, and he's got quite a bit more to come. So I think he'll make his presence felt in a big way. And he's in receipt of 6 kgs from number 3, Boom Shakalaka, who was given an opening mark of 89, which is, I thought, quite high, given that he won quite easily, but that was his only great performance to date. And then number 1, Rhythm. Sereno takes a ride here for Alison Wright. I think that now that this horse has learned how to race and he's actually settled in his races, I think 1200 meters could suit him.
Yeah, I think he could be the horse from draw number 1 that could have the run of the race here over 1200 meters. If you can remember, I think 3 starts back, he was actually punted this horse to win on the turf over 1000 meters. Actually back to start favourite, beaten by 1 too many. So since then he's had 2 nice runs. We know how well Master Bling has come. I think he's won 4 of his last 5 starts. He's in tremendous form. And this horse wasn't too far behind him, 3.5 lengths out. Number 1, Rhythm, I agree with Rail. Number 4, Kalahari Rora gets my approval as well with the claim 4. And then horse number 5, Preemptive Strike. So play around those numbers. I can't see anything else. You're going to have to play it with the minimum spend, the pick 6. Numbers 1, 4, and 5 of the 7 runners good enough?
I think so, Deez. I'm happy with that.
Okay, 1, 4, and 5 for the pick 6 here, leg number 1. But the value of the 3 runners could be Sereno, Woodley's Mount, number 1, Rhythm.
Race number 4 next up. This is the start of Jackpot 1. 1200 meters the distance. 12 minutes past 2 is the off time for the 4th race. And your favorite here is number 3, Mind Map at 17 to 10. MacDazzler 2 to 1. Paved with Gold at 33 to 10. River Dance at 4 to 1. And then it is double figure odds about the balance. Now, in terms of the place accumulator D's, I've banked this horse, MacDazzler. He's been a model of consistency without winning. He's been a frustrating horse for backers of him. And for punters that have gone for him in a big way at his last, 5 starts, because he's been beaten favourite at all of his last 5 starts. He's yet to get it right. But when we have a look at his form, I think it's Wednesday or never for this horse. I think this is the right race for him. 1.5 lengths to Mr. Hotstepper, I think, is a great run, given the form line that Mr. Hotstepper brought into the race, compared to the 1.5 lengths to Capolino. So I think MacDazzler will get it right on Wednesday. He's not a horse that I think you can put your head down and have a full go on. But in terms of a bet like maybe Jackpot 1, I think you can take your chances and banker him.
I think place accumulator, 100%. 100%. His consistency, the way he's holding his form, he's been frustrating, costly to follow. We know that. And, we've been saying it for the last few runs, I would say, that it looks the right field. This is the right time for MacDazzler. He was gelded. They tried him with blinkers. And now we'll see if he can finally make his move into the number 1 box. It does look like the right field again. Dare I say it. Number 3, Mind Gap, and number 5, River Dance come from a form line behind a horse that took, 13 runs to win from the Wendy Whitehead stable. So beaten by those horses that were behind Mind Map and River Dance were beaten by a battler in the maiden rank. So how is that form going to hold up? Number 8, MacDazzler. Place accumulator, I'm in agreement with Rail for a banker. The ability
as well. Got to be.
Maybe you could go one more, but he's run second his last 2 starts, and you go 3 runs back, he ran 4th. Could it be running 3rd this time round? Or it's either 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. That's the way I see it.
On the poly, 4 seconds.
Now, you know what's frustrating about this horse? He's got the ability.
Yes.
We know that. We've seen him race, but that confidence for putting his head in front and knowing where the finishing line is. Craig's tried to assist him all the way. Sean Wheeler's tried in his 2 previous runs as well. They couldn't do it. Maybe. You may be right, I'll ask you this question. prior to the running of the race.
Yes.
Say he doesn't win on Wednesday.
Yes.
I'm not wishing anyone any ill. Please don't get. I like him to win because, especially if you've been going for him, you want to get some cash back. Say he doesn't win on Wednesday.
Yes.
What would you be telling me the next time we preview the show? He runs second.
No, he's done. If he doesn't win on Wednesday, he's done. He's done. That's it.
You know what I mean? Because I liked him. I promise you. I'll tell you when I really liked him. 3 starts back. That's the day I really liked him.
On the turf at Scottsville.
Yeah, I really liked him that day when he ran behind General Bryne. After that day, I went sour on him.
Yeah.
So I really haven't liked him his last 2 starts where he's run second. But this race, I agree with you. So if you were to tip them between the 3, of course, the unknowns in the race are numbers 2 and 4.
Yes.
We're suggesting, and number 4 is in the betting there, 33 to 10.
33 to 10.
So number 4 is in the betting. So although Caname has got a race runner, just keep an eye if there's any follow through on Paved in Gold. But if you had to tip them, are you going to tip 8 by?
8 by 5 Ds.
8 by 5 for Rahil. And number 3, Mind Map was actually finished in front of number 5. So that has to go, and that's actually priced up at the favorite. So yeah, 8 by 3 and 5, we're telling you something that's obvious. Nothing too creative from us here. But could it be the day that Mac Dazzler finds himself in the number 1 box? Well, all will be revealed in race number 4, which is the start of Jackpot 1. Race number 5, it's an odd time, 14:48, 1200 meters, fillies and mares, 78 handicap on the poly track for race number 5, start of Jackpot 2. And as we bring up the field, 7 runners at the time of recording will go to post. This is how they're betting. Betting obviously taken down early, so there may have been changes. 1 at 11 to 2, 2 at 7 to 2, 3 at 4 to 1. 15 to 10, number 5, Ladybug, and number 7, Liswile Ilali at 7 to 1. Rael, I like the look of this filly, Ladybug. I think she's rightfully at the top of betting boards. A fluent winner on the poly track last time out over the distance. Yeah, I understand, that was a rating of 66, but she shouldered the 61 kg. She made it look very, very easy. They've pushed her up to a 79 in the ratings. I don't know what she's capable of achieving, but from what I saw last time out, I was really impressed.
Yeah, this filly won very well last time out. She's got her issues, but Bryne and the team here in KZN seem to be on top of it, and they've got things working with this filly at the moment. And she's a 2-time winner from 4 starts. She's got the ability, just a few niggles with her legs. But yeah, all is in order with her, and she's set to take a place on Wednesday. Fluent win last time out. Yeah, and I can see her going back to back despite a 7-point hike in the ratings. Yeah, she's a horse that I've banked in the place accumulated Ds, and yeah, I think she's going to go well. There does seem to be a bit of threat though from number 2, Siberian Winter, who showed big improvement last time out when doing her best work at the finish, and she's been dropped a further 2 points in the ratings. She tries the poly track for the first time, and she is a horse that I think can make a presence felt. And then this filly, Sky Tricks from the Michael Miller yard, a yard that's going about their business in good style at the moment. Matthew Thackeray takes a ride. She's a horse that I don't think will be inconvenienced by the drop-in trip, and I think she could be a bit of a threat as well. So in terms of the pick 6, I would include numbers 2 and 3 along with number 5, but place accumulators, I think Ladybug will be enough.
I'm going to go all in here at number 5, Ladybug. I hear your thoughts about the Michael Roberts runner, Siberian Winter, and the fact that Michael raced and all those features as a young horse, including the Golden Slipper on Hollywoodbets Durban July Day, where she was, well beaten. But the fact is they tried her in those features. That comeback run was a game effort. Icy Lancaster is a horse that's now in Cape Town with Garrett Van Zyl, and she needed her first run back. So keep an eye on her down in the Western Cape. And with Jane's Vision coming out to win from that form line, maybe Ryle could be onto something with number 2, Siberian Winter. But for Ryle, it's numbers 2, 3, and 5 in the pick 6. He does like number 5 for a banker and the PA. I'm all in here, guys. Number 5, Ladybug, to win race number 5.
Race number 6, next up. 15:23 is the off time, and this is a maiden plate over 1900 meters. Number 2, Rolo the Viking, Frank Robinson, and this horse finished second last time out behind Rainbow of Roses, the top one in the market. Rainwater is a horse that D's went for last time out, and this horse just didn't really seem to put his best foot forward, but I think that he could be maybe the joker of the pack, if I can put it in those words. Back on the poly track where he was well fancied over 1600 meters, and he just never really raised a gallop that day. But yeah, I don't know. I get the feel that this horse will pop up, and this is the type of race for him to pop up. It's not a strong field, these, and I mean, Rolo the Viking to be the favourite, beaten 10 lengths last time out. I know he does drop in trip, which will suit him a lot better, but he was beaten 10 lengths.
Yeah, that was, I don't know how strong that field was. We had our doubts about the distance, etc. And I see Frank's dropping the horse from 2,300 to 1,900 meters, which could be a better move from the yard. He'll be competitive. Who's taking the ride on him? Do you know? Does Gavin have a ride yet?
I think it could be Gavin Dees.
Yeah, it must be Gavin Larena, because I haven't seen any changes just yet. But yeah, with Moose.
Nothing official yet, but yeah, maybe.
Gavin rode the horse last time out. It's Sid Smudley's horse. If Gavin's going to come down for the day, because he's declared on a few other runners already, so it could be Gavin Larena's mount, and he knows the horse. He would have learnt a lot from those. We're just assuming this, guys, but if Gavin Larena is coming down for the day, surely he'll get the ride on number 2, Roller the Viking. But coming back to Rainwater, every now and again it does pop up. It's not something that I follow religiously, but it does pop up. It may have been the second run back. It was a long break, May to September, then October. It may have been the second run back. So now the horse will have no excuses when it comes to fitness. Hoodwinked, number 4. Now, Kumaran Naidu's runner is going to be a horse that I'm going to be leaning towards as my top choice here, making his debut on the poly track. He hasn't raced on the surface. I know he was thrashed by Artist Model last time out, but we know how good that horse is, having won the Model Man, where Ryle did like him as a top choice. But Amigo and Dapper are horses that have come out to enhance that form line as well. So I'm going to judge him on his runs prior to that. And I'm hoping that he takes to the poly track, because he's a horse that certainly showed signs of ability, number 4, Hoodwinked. And then Ironmonger on his last start. How did that horse, Captain Oliver, win? I mean, that was a good
nice
win.
Yeah.
He looked like he was going to finish in the top 3, maybe even the top 4 for Freaky Kreling, but he's a horse that I will follow out the maidens, Captain Oliver. And this was an enterprising ride by Nicholas Patel to try and steal it at the top of the straight, and did stay on nicely. So if he repeats that run, he wins. I'm hoping for a form result just on the process of elimination. I say a form result because I'm going with the rule, 4 horses in a field of 8, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm torn between 2 runners as my top choice here, Ryle, numbers 2 and 4. But all said and done, I'm going to go 4.
Yeah, these will go with number 4, Hoodwinked. I'm going to go with number 3, Rainwater. Just get a feeling that it could be his day on Wednesday. Place accumulator, I've included numbers 2 and 3. I think despite the 2 being beaten 10 lengths last time out, I think he could be good enough to run into the top 3, and then number 3, Rainwater. But race number 6, that is it. These likes Hoodwinked, and I like Rainwater. Perhaps some swingers and exactors with numbers 3 and 4.
A tricky race, and we now are on race number 7, a maiden plate, 1,400 meters. It's on the poly track, and we bring up the field for race number 7. You'll see 8 runners that will go to post, just as a guide for the betting, and 4 8 to 1, 5 at 5 to 2, 6 at 11 to 2, 7 at 9 to 2, and we got a 17 to 10 shot here. Is that correct? When I took down the betting about a day ago?
Yeah, it's 18 to 10, 17 to 10. Yeah, correct.
Go, Grayson, go. Freaky Kreling now stepping out a few more runners. Nice to see the stable, showing the quality of racehorses that they have. Tennis Chirika, we know the Blue Sky Thoroughbreds firmly behind Freaky Kreling. That last start, now I spoke about Hoodwink in the previous race, Ryle, with regards to that form line in the maiden ranks. I'll read it out again. Artist Model winning the Model Man, Amigo, Dapper coming out to win. That was on the turf. If this horse translates and brings that form to the poly track, on what I see of the balance of the runners whilst there's form to go around, you're going to have to take a stance. I think he wins here. Number 8, Go Grayson Go.
Yeah, DC could be a hard horse to oppose just on the basis of that run, because it was a cracking performance, and he just found one too good on the day, and that horse has gone on and looks to be quite a smart sort in the making in the form of Artist Model. The one concern for me is a step down in Trip D's to 1400 meters. If that doesn't affect him in any way, well then I think he'll win. Yeah. In terms of the place accumulators, I've gone with numbers 5 and 8. In this field, I think that there's only 2 horses that can win, and it's between 5 and 8. Number 5, Pleased to See You. Well, after McDazzler wins in one of the earlier races, the form will be franked behind Mr. Heartstepper.
Yes.
This horse ran a cracker on local debut, and he's now second up. He'll strip a much fitter horse for the outing, and 1400 meters, no issue. He'll be spot on, and yeah, I think he's the biggest danger to go, Grayson Go. But number 8 has got to be the top choice here.
8, the top choice. 5, the danger. The Canamea horses, just reading into the riding arrangements, it looks like number 6, Bound by Destiny, that put in a very good debut, may just need the run being rested since the 1st of May, because Craig Zaki is on number 7, Real War, who's been very costly to follow. 11 to 10, 7 to 2, 9 to 10, 5 to 2. He's let the side down, but he'll run well. On his better form lines, number 7, Real War. But both Ryle and myself think in race number 7, if the 1400 meters is no issue for number 8, Go Grayson Go, he wins.
Race number 8, final race on the day. This is an MR73 handicap, 1400 meters at distance, 16:33 the off time, and I think that well, they've saved the toughest race for the last race on the program, because this looks to be a very, very trappy contest to wrap up proceedings on Wednesday. Rafiki, your favorite, 28 to 10. Tea Time Tipple, 7 to 2. Benny in the area, 4 to 1, along with Sweeper Keeper, 9 to 2. Irish Luck, and then it is 14 to 1 and Better Ball those. Now, these, in my place accumulator, I've Brass's favourite, Rafiki, who does return off a rest, and Craig Zaki takes a ride for 100. Now, I'm looking elsewhere, and I've gone with numbers 1, 3, and 4.
Hey, been checking my notes here, right?
No, these. I think that these could be the right horses in the race.
I'm in agreement with you. 1,
Yeah.
3, and 4. I'm willing to take a chance with those numbers.
Yeah, I
the
think
front
that's
runner, number 1, Benny in the area, run of the race. I can just see how this race works out. Benny in the
Yeah.
area to the front. If he runs to the line, he'll go very close to winning. Number 3, Tea Time Tipple, Stuart Ferry, even though the horse is carrying 61 kgs. I know it doesn't come from the same form line that I spoke of Fish Eagle earlier on.
Yes.
Fish Eagle winning again after that. And this horse, Tea Time Tipple, was 4 lengths behind, but well beaten. But nevertheless, I think he's a horse that looks ready to win again. And then 4, Sweeper Keeper. Again, we got that form line of neither here nor there. This was on the 18th of September. And then following up with that run behind. Yo, did you watch that horse Fair Advantage win last time out?
Yes, how was that
Put the
win?
money down too, huh?
They lights out. Lights out. Yeah.
That horse, I think, will follow as he races here in KZN.
Yeah, he seemed to enjoy the poly track, and yeah, he won quite a nice race. He came from some way back to win that day.
Yeah, that was a good win. So both Ryle and myself are in agreement. Numbers 1, 3, and 4, the horses to play around. So the guys are playing a quartet in the last race. We've given them our numbers to play around for pick sixes and
Yes.
and you maybe even the place accumulator. You can possibly include all 3 of them and hope to double up and maybe even treble up. But if to ask you for one more runner, that could be an inclusion for quartets. And which horse would you go for?
Number 6, Lake Como, 16 to 1 in the market. Runs well over track and trip. Down in the ratings, 1.5 off the back. Rachel rides for Doug Campbell, and she's got the best record on this horse. Whenever she has ridden him, he's run well, and his wins to date have only come with Rachel. So I think that could be the rocket for the quartet. These
6 for Ryle, 8 for me. Irish Luck. I think just see who's the replacement rider there. I think you'll get a nice run from Irish Luck in race number 8. But both Ryle and myself think that the winner should come from numbers 1, 3, and 4 in race number 8.
Moving along to the suggested bet part of the show, and suggested bet for racing out at Hollywoodbets Greyville on Wednesday. I've gone with the place accumulator as my suggested bet, and it is quite a straightforward perm. It all begins in race number 2, and I've bankered horse number 8 here. Banker 8, Kurari's Dream. Follow that up by going with numbers 1 and 4. That is Rhythm and Kalahari Roller. I think one of those horses can get the job done in the third race on the program, which will be the start of the pick 6. I've then gone banker number 8, McDazzler. He looks to be the ideal roving banker in race number 4, and I think it is his time to shine. And hopefully all falls into place for number 8, McDazzler. Excuse me, in race number 4. We move along to race 5, and I've bankered number 5, Ladybug. I think that there are opposition here in the form of Siberian Winter and Skytrix, but I think this filly could be good enough to run into the top 3. She is the favourite at 15 to 10. I've then gone with numbers 2 and 3, Rolo the Viking, who's your even money favourite, and then Rainwater, who is at 4 to 1 in the market. I think one of those horses could perhaps get it right, but I have preference for number 3, Rainwater, at 4 to 1. I've then gone with numbers 5 and 8, Pleased to See You and Go Grayson Go. In order of preference, 8 from 5, but I think that these are the only 2 horses that could win in race number 7, and I'm confident that I'll double up there. And then in race number 8, the final race on the day, both these are myself of the opinion that numbers 1, 3 and 4, the winner will come from one of those 3 horses, and that is to wrap it up. So that is a place accumulator perm, which will cost you 24 Rand for 1 full unit. I think it is a day where you can get that PA multiple times. I don't think it's going to pay a huge dividend, but I think that punters can get involved in that place accumulator and catch it multiple times, and you'll certainly make a profit on your investment. All the best with racing out at Hollywoodbets Greyville on Wednesday. Hopefully both these and myself have managed to guide you in the right direction. You can find yourself in the winner's queue and have a profitable day's racing.